Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakwadash. The honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone to rule well. Peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect of Israel. Okay, now, I read an article and watched a clip yesterday, Salakia, that was going into an EMP. Okay, now an EMP, what that stands for, the acronym, it means electromagnetic pulse. Okay, which would disable electronics, all electronics. And now, depending on the severity of the EMP, it depends how long it would take for the power to come back on. But I definitely believe through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shemel Shai, which it's, my vain opinion, so you don't have to listen to it, because my opinion doesn't matter. Nobody's opinion matters, but based off the scriptures, it would not surprise me at all. I believe that it's a very high possibility that an EMP will happen. Okay, more than likely a false flag EMP that will disable electronics, and that will lead to famine, and that will lead to riots, that will lead to gangs and criminals rising up, that will eventually lead to people eating their household pets and cannibalism, and that will also be where martial law will be implemented and all these other perilous times which the scriptures speak of. And when it gets to the point where, once they get the power back on, it'd be a reboot, it'd be a restart. They have to basically, start over, with how things work, because everybody was, just, living in an apocalypse movie, for a little while. Once again, depending on the severity of the EMP is how long the power would be out. I'm not sure, but I'm sure they could then say, take this chip and we will give you food and you'll get money and you can, go back to living like before. And that's going to be where the hour of temptation sets in. All right, now is this how it's going to, go down? I don't know. But we understand that regardless if there's an EMP or not, that we are entering into perilous times, and they are very, very close. They're not far off. They're not far off, and that's a common mistake that people seem to think that their speculation is off. Okay, this stuff is way closer than people will ever believe. So let me read this first. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So it said, remember the Creator in the days of thy youth. All right, and it says, while the evil days come not. Now that's one of the main things we're going to pull out of this scripture, is to basically remember the Creator. Whether you're a youth or not, we understand reincarnation, but to remember the Creator, so to hearken, and return to Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, all right? Yahweh being the Creator, but Yahweh Shai His Son, whom we also worship. We worship Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. So remember, Yahweh and hearken and turn to Yahweh, Yahweh Shai and the laws, statutes, and commandments, while the evil days haven't came yet. Okay, because although, there are things happening and prophecies are coming to pass, Jacob's trouble has not officially popped off yet. Okay, as of yet. And also another thing I forgot to add, the EMP that will also lead into the famine of the word. Okay, because the internet would shut off because, the electronics. You wouldn't be able to see YouTube videos no more. And then you could think, well, what about on the highways and byways? Once riots break out and all that, the famines and stuff, they're going to be, the men of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, they're going to be hidden. They're going to be taken off the streets, right? Let me just get these scriptures regarding this. This is Salakia. I meant to press on Amos. This is Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water. Now we know there is going to be a famine of bread and a thirst for water, because that's in the scriptures as well, many times. Okay, but what is being said here is Yahweh is going to send a more devastating famine, which is worse than all the rest. And he's not talking about a famine of bread or water right now. He's talking about the famine of the word. All right, let me read on. Let me just start over. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh, all right, which is the most important out of the three. Okay, because you don't have food, you don't have water. Yeah, you'll die. But if you have this spiritual food and water, then you're gonna be all right. And plus, if you have this spiritual food and water, then you will get the rest. The rest will fall in order. You will get food and water if you trust in Yahweh Yahushai. Scriptures speak about that. My servant shall eat, but ye should be hungry. I think that's in Isaiah 65. I'm just gonna search it up, just to make sure that we can just get it. Isaiah 65. I'll start at verse 12. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear. And when did Yahweh call? And when did he speak? Through his men, all right? The servants of Yahweh Yahushai, whom are the prophets. But did evil before in mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. All right, because you didn't hearken unto the words of Yahweh or Yahushai. All right, specifically Yahweh, you didn't hearken unto his words through his prophets, which that's why Yahweh told this to Ezekiel in chapter 2. Ezekiel chapter 2, I'll start at verse 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that hath rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this very day. For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, so whether they hearken or whether they disregard, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there hath been a prophet among them. And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words. Though briars and thorns be with thee, and thou dost dwell among scorpions, be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. All right, now going back to Isaiah 65 and 13. I want to go back to here and back to Isaiah to make a point. Isaiah 65 and 13. 12. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called ye did not answer, when I spake ye did not hear, but did evil before in mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. All right, now we can connect this with Proverbs 1. I'll start at verse 20. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates in the city she uttereth her words, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Turn you at my reproof, behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, I will make known my words unto you. All right, and how is that being done? Once again, through the prophets. All right, Yahweh's servants, the prophets. Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel with none of my reproof. So Yahweh has his men out here telling you to repent and telling you that evil, perilous times are ahead and here, and manifesting day by day. But you choose not to listen, all right? Which is why, your destruction is nigh at hand. Which is why you're going to be destroyed, and that makes you an enemy, because if you're not with us, then you're against us. There's no neutral zone. Verse 26, I also will laugh at your calamity, I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh, they would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. All right, shall be quiet from fear of evil. And it says right here, verse 28, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. All right, now we can connect this with Hosea 5:15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early. So it's talking about they're going to seek Yahweh early when Jacob's trouble pops off. Okay, because that's when people want to get serious. That's when people really want to listen. That's when people are like, well, those men on the streets, they were right. So we want to find them. We want to hearken unto them. It's not going to work like that. It's not how that works, right? It's not how the cookie's going to crumble this time, so to speak. Right, because that's what we're going into right now, the famine of the word. I have it bookmarked. I can go back that way. This is Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro. So they're going to run all over the place, to seek the word of Yahweh, which is taught by the prophets, starting with the apostles, the great millstone, and the elders on down, and shall not find it. Okay, so you're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. Simple as that. So then what are you going to do? Because according to the scriptures, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is what is going to keep us stable and what is going to keep us basically mentally intact. All right? From going mad, and that's Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge. And it's not wisdom and knowledge of just anything. It's wisdom and knowledge of the scriptures. Okay? Understanding of the holy scriptures. Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. Right? The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. Salakia. I know it's in Proverbs. There we go. This is Proverbs 1:7. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Okay? So the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. People don't fear Yahweh. There's plenty of people out there that even deny that he exists. And when we came out of Egypt, in fact, let me get it. I'm going to get it as I'm talking about it. Excuse me, Salakia. Oops. Salakia. Goodness. Salakia, I'm trying to find it. Talks about when they were the Israelites were going to take Jericho, and okay, here we go. This is Joshua chapter 2, verse 9. And she said unto the men, this is Rahab, or Rahab, and she said unto the men, I know that Yahweh hath given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us. She's talking about Jericho, where she lives. And that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. For we have heard how Yahweh dried up the water of the Red Sea for you, when ye came out of Egypt, right? Which was the bondage, the first bondage that the Israelites were in, which was Egypt, right? Which was the nation of the Egyptians was from Mizraim, which was Hamites, okay, which is so-called Africans today, because so-called Negroes are Israelites. They're not the same people, all right, and that's very, very clear. For we have heard how Yahweh dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when ye came out of Egypt, and what ye did unto the two kings of the Amorites that were on the other side Jordan, Sihon, and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. And as soon as we had heard these things, she's talking about the people of Jericho, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For Yahweh your God, he is God in heaven above and in the earth beneath. And now you got people that even deny God exists at all. All right, people don't fear God, man. They don't fear Yahweh. They don't have respect for Yahweh Shai either. All right, because he died for the nation of Israel, specifically the elect, and Israelites still want to just keep sinning. That's not fear. Okay, that's not fear. The scriptures clearly tell you over and over again that Yahweh is the one that kills people, but people don't fear him. People don't fear him. And that's ridiculous, because like I said, the fear is the beginning of knowledge. So if you don't fear Yahweh, then you didn't even begin getting knowledge yet. You're not even a babe yet. You haven't even started. That's the first start is the fear. All right, the fear is what motivates us to do these videos. The fear is what motivates us to try our best to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. The fear is what keeps us in order. All right, this world is all out of order. And by world, I mean the planet. Okay? But I was giving you this example because back then they knew who Yahweh was. And they understood that he was the God of the Israelites and that he chose the Israelites and that he was with them. And that's why she said, and all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. They faint because they know that Yahweh was with the Israelites. People do not acknowledge Yahweh, man. Nobody, and I'm not laughing like as in a humorous way. I'm laughing because it's just so ridiculous. It's kind of like a scoffing laugh. It's so ridiculous, man. Not like as in a scoffer, but these people have no fear in Yahweh. They don't even know Yahweh at all. They don't know his name except when they hear it out of us, because we're exalting the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. They don't have fear of Yahweh. They don't care. And like I said, there's even people that don't believe in God at all. All right? That's how gone this place is. There's no fear. But Yahweh is going to bring fear. People are going to know at the end of the day, which is a metaphor, that Yahweh is God himself and that he can do anything and he can do whatever he pleases. All right? And he's going to bring major destruction and gruesome death to this place. So you better believe it. I mean, we're talking about cannibalism coming back because of these famines, and people are not only going to be killing each other for supplies and killing each other to eat each other, but you may see somebody get swarmed by a group of like a family or something, like a family, and they just run up on them and start eating them alive. That's the type of stuff that we're talking about right now. That's the kind of cards that we're dealing with. That's the stuff that's in the deck. Gruesome, terrible ways. This is the worst time that's going to come upon the planet. Okay? The worst. Not the second worst or the third, or it's going to be bad, but not that bad. No, it's the worst. The worst time. And it tells you that several times, right? Which proves also that we are to do what the scriptures say in Isaiah, to do, line upon line here a little, there a little, because the scriptures connect. The scriptures connect. This is Isaiah 24. I'm going to just start at verse 6 because this is heavy altogether. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Slakia. And that's the time that we're in. For nation shall rise against nation. Slakia. And kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All right, so nation against nation is going into race wars. Okay, race wars. Which is going into that sedition among men. Because when it's talking about nation, it's not talking about the nation of the United States or the American nation, the European nation. I know I said America twice, but I don't always say America because there's North, Central, and South America. But I just wanted to clarify even more. But yeah, it's not talking about like the nation Iran or the nation of Russia. It's talking about nations as in the nations of the Bible. There's 18 of them. All right, one of them being Israel. Okay, which is the loved, and then there's one being Edom, which is the hated, which is the so-called white race collectively, and the Israelites are so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, specifically those of so-called Negro and Indian descent. But it's all about your patrilineal. All right. Well, right now it's spiritual. Okay. So, the Israelites look like all different kinds of people right now, but just to sum it up, and the other 16, because I named 2 of them, and there's 18 total. The other 16 are regarded as spit. And you can read that in 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 54 on down to the end of the chapter. Okay, so let's go to sedition among men. 2 Ezra 15. Man, let me start it. Well, let me just get right to the point, and then I'm going to go down. Go up. This is 2 Ezra 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. All right. And swords in their hands. Now, this is going in all sorts of types of wars. There's going to be race wars, civil wars, class wars, all sorts of stuff. All right. All sorts of sedition. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be destroyed, and the houses shall be Salakia. Well, the cities will be destroyed by those nuclear missiles. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, which is going to famine, and for a great tribulation, the worst time of all time. All right, I mean, what don't you people understand about that? The worst time to ever come upon the planet. All right, and this right here, verse 17, is going into martial law. Okay, because after so much civil unrest, martial law is going to be implemented, right? Which puts the Constitution on hold, which is going to lead into those FEMA camps, the FEMA camps, and also can't forget about the chip. I mean, they may chip people in the FEMA camps. I'm sure they will. But I don't know. I don't know exactly how this is going to go. Maybe I'm not sure. Because like I said, if the EMP happens or not, I'm not sure. We're not sure. But they are going to chip people because that is the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast to chip. They probably will do it in FEMA camps. And if you don't take it, you're going to be beheaded or tortured or whatever they do to you. So we don't know the exact, type of specific scenario. But we understand that all these things are coming. Famine, mass death, pestilence, cannibalism, rape, like it talked about. Well, I didn't play the clip, so lucky I forgot that I didn't play that. Which you can go on YouTube and you can watch it yourself. It's called basically something like what to expect after an EMP, something like that. And it should be the first video that comes up. And also there's going to be martial law. We understand there's going to be famines. There's going to be just all sorts of terrible things, and it's going to end with those nuclear missiles. All right. Let's go back up to here. Put a bookmark on that so they can go back to Matthew. Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and famines, plural. And pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And one of those famines is that famine of the word. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right, now that's actually leading us into 2 Ezra 16, which I'll get pretty soon. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Okay, so people aren't going to regard your feelings. There's going to be a lot of looters, and there's going to be cannibalism. There's going to be all sorts of civil unrest and just complete chaos, all right? Complete chaos. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right, now let's go down to Matthew 24:21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Okay, so it's the worst time of all time. And that actually links up with, Daniel 12:1. And I'll read verse 2. I'll read verse 2 also. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. All right, now that book is the book of life, which is the elect. The elect are written in there. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. All right, and the reason for that is because, they didn't hearken. They're gonna extremely and sincerely regret not hearkening. So now let's get back to 2 Ezra 15. 2 Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. All right? So incredulity is somebody not able to learn, not able to understand, not willing to understand. All right? And then it goes in and it says right there, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So it doesn't matter if you don't believe, man. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. All right, now that's actually leading into 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 5 on down to 9, and Ezekiel 9:4. Also, Revelation 7:1-3, and those are scriptures that you can read yourself, going into the mark, which is exemption from judgment, the spiritual mark, all right, the mark that will be put on the elect, because there's a mark in Ezekiel 9:4, which is a mark that represents this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, being sealed in your forehead and being exempt from destruction, like the 2/3 are going to receive. And the mark in Revelations 13 is the RFID or NFC. Specifically, RFID is what they usually label it as, microchip. All right, the microchip implant is the mark of the beast. All right. So let's read a couple more scripts. I'm going to close this. 2 Ezra 16:17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? All right, which that scripture goes in reincarnation as well, because Ezra was like 300 to 400 years before Yahushua was on the scene. All right. And this is talking about the days that we're coming into, rather the days that we're in now. All right. And they're only escalating by the day, by the hour, really. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. All right, so we're coming in the worst times, man. You got to be prepared spiritually. All right, you got to be prepared spiritually. Let me get Isaiah 55 and 6-7. I'm going to close out with this. Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Going into the famine of the word. Let the wicked forsake his way. Forsake his way and hearken unto Yahweh Yahushai. And come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. And the unrighteous, let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. So with that said, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Waharakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone to rule well. Peace and blessings, salutations to the hopefully elect of Israel. All right, Yahweh Ratazah, this was edifying to the elect. All right, and condemn those that need to be condemned. Shalom.